Previously on Scum and Villainy, y'all were hurtling through space and were intercepted by some starfighters who began firing on the ship. In the kind of ensuing chaos, Levi and Sid ran to the gunner's seats. Luna tried to guide the ship as best the team could to avoid blaster fire, and Sib and Vic were tasked with transporting the mysterious cryopod down to a more secure area of containment in the hold. And in doing so, it wasn't exactly the smoothest kind of dogfight in space. So, and Vic and Sib lost their footing, and the cryopod impacted the wall, and the power system was taken out. So the apparatus that was causing it to hover stopped, which meant it fell on Sib's legs. Not only that, the cryopod itself was damaged and cracked. At which point Levi arrived, and through what I assume was a hilarious moment of miscommunication, Levi, Vic, and Sib had differing ideas about what should happen with the cargo pod, and a confrontation ensued. Meanwhile, alarms sounded, and there was a notification that the ship's hull had been breached. And since our crew was indisposed at the time, one of their other crew members, the much beloved 10 Mil in the engineering team, went to check it out and was beset by some strange creature that had pierced through the ship's hull and was clawing its way in. Luna, Sib, and Levi ran through the ship to try and help 10 Mil and managed to drag 10 Mil to safety, but unfortunately 10 Mil was injured quite badly, and the three of them suffered some trauma as a consequence of what happened. There was a brief shipwide meeting while the crew decided what to plan next, after discovering that answers to what possibly this stasis or this cryopod might be, the answers may lay on the planet Aketi, which was Sib's home planet, where she and her family were researching ancient artifacts before Sib decided to dust off and boost from that planet for reasons. And as the crew kind of chatted about what to do, Vic patched up 10 Mil's leg and made sure that 10 Mil was going to be okay. Levi admitted that he had administered a very powerful narcotic, which was a surprise to the whole crew, I imagine. But plans have been made. Luna, you and Matchstick discovered that if you waited for a while before jumping through the gate to the brick system, you could arrive when the planet Aketi was in a closer orbit. So you've decided to bunker down at a spaceport that's attached to the hypergate as a means to kind of take some downtime to repair the damage to the ship. And that is where we kind of find ourselves heading. I believe at the end of last session you had docked already. So please jump in and correct me if I'm jumping ahead, but we are at a point where we can talk about the downtime from the previous episode. Now, as always with downtime, take a look at your character sheets and look at the options for XP you have, and if you feel that you fulfill any of those items on that list, then you are free to mark XP in either your playbook or maybe in some of your attributes. Also, remember in the previous session, if you were rolling in a desperate position, then any of the attributes you rolled with, they will receive XP points for that roll. Also, the ship also has an XP track. And so thinking about what happened in the last session, there are some XP points maybe the ship can meet as well. So, for instance, did we execute a successful job that opposed hegemonic dominance? Did we contend with challenges that were above our current station? Did we bolster the crew's reputation or develop a new one? Or did we express the goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature of the crew? So I'll pass that to you, the players. What do you think we fulfilled any of those in the previous session?
I feel like inner conflict definitely came up as outer conflict.
100%.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yep.
Maybe the reputation one as well with the battle, with the fight. Would that have bolstered
the reputation or developing a new one?
Mm-hmm. With
I
whatever.
think it would bolster our reputation as a daring crew.
Okie dokie. So now that the ship has filled its crew XP track, you have options. You could choose to have the ship choose another special ability, or you could give yourself 2 more ship upgrades, or you could upgrade the quality of one of the areas of the ship.
Ooh. Does that include mid-bay?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that, honestly.
So yes, so the cruise ship upgrades are just that section above the XP thing where you've got black market contacts, secret base, waveless.
Gotcha.
The other parts of the ship require spending cred during the downtime at the spaceport.
Okay.
Crew upgrades.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, I mean, I would maybe say Wayblessed might be kind of cool, especially with what's going on with this, whatever the strange contents of this cryopod are. Some of it leaked out, maybe. There's some amplification of that storyline happening.
Yeah, sure. That will give you an extra gambit, which means you would start this session with 3 gambits.
Sweet.
And you would start next session with 3 gambits as well.
Yeah, I reckon could be really cool.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah, should we say, way blessed?
Way blessed.
Boom, boom.
Let's
nice. Awesome. Okie dokie. Now, in terms of your character sheets, I will leave that to you. I trust you all. You know your characters better than I do. If you fulfill the playbook track, you can choose another special ability. If you fill one of your attribute tracks, you can add another mark into any of those attributed skills. I will also point out, in the ship, you have the personal training space, which means you can spend one downtime action, one of your 2 downtime actions, you can spend training, which gives you 2 extra points in your playbook track if you choose to take that. Cool. Now, in terms of the other, ramifications of what you were doing in terms of the the heat and the fallout and the cred, etc. There is definitely your heat in this system. I believe you're in the IOTA system. Yes, your heat in the IOTA system has increased by 1. As far as any entanglements go, the faction that assaulted your ship, that's going to have some sort of ramification in terms of their opinion of you. You're not quite sure who it was. They didn't exactly announce we are this faction before they started shooting. They just intercepted you, so you'd have to do a little bit of investigating to figure out who or what that was. But yeah, at the moment you wouldn't have earned any cred from that last session. But in saying that, there are ways, if you wanted to do something with the ship that required cred, there are ways to either call in favors, incur debt, that kind of thing that you'll pay off later, or if there was some other way you think you might be able to get what you need, that's also fine.
What's one more favor amongst all the favors that we owe?
Everywhere.
Yeah.
So just for clarity's sake, Levi in his downtime is going to be heading the personal training space and is going to be repairing the hull of the ship, which I think is probably the smart play for the mechanic.
Yeah, if you do you want to wait till you get to the spaceport to repair, or are you going to repair?
I think he's probably going to start doing some doing the bits that he can do from inside the hull as best he can, and then when we get to the spaceport, he'll probably get into the heavier duty stuff.
Well, yeah, sure, because you can make a rig roll, like you just need to make a rig check to repair it on the fly. If you want to get to the ship, then to the spaceport, then it'll be easier in terms of finding that sort of stuff. But you can absolutely roll for it if you want.
Well, I think my understanding was that we docked already.
Yes, that's true. I had said that.
So, he would have been kind of putting up the tarpaulin with some duct tape on the inside on the way there, and then now that we're there, kind of pushing harder.
Awesome. Also, I will point out, because last session, some of you incurred some trauma. Trauma doesn't work the same way as stress. When you encounter a lot of stress, you indulge in a vice to kind of lower that stress. Trauma, once you have trauma, it becomes a part of your character. What it actually is that it is now another narrative way for you to earn XP.
Okay.
So whatever this condition, this haunted condition, means for your character, if you find ways to lean into the RP of that trauma, then you get XP in terms of the way that works. But if you take a bit of time to just kind of deal with the fact that you have that trauma while you're here in this downtime, what you get is you maintain the trauma condition, but all of your stress gets cleared out. Ideally, in a longer game, in terms of this setup, what would happen was similar to overindulging. When you encounter this trauma, you actually disappear for a while. So if someone undergoes a traumatic condition, they would essentially drop out of the narrative for a while the rest of the others continue on, and then they would reappear, and there would be something noticeably different about them.
Got it.
So dyed the hair.
Yeah. But because this trauma occurred whilst you're in the midst of something pretty intense, instead of disappearing out of the narrative, and since there's three of you, what we'll do is we'll spend a little bit of this downtime on the space dock to try and just to kind of address that and see how it's affecting each of you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, it doesn't have to be individually. You can all experience this trauma at the same time if you want, or deal with it the same way. But that's up to you. Cool. Now, as you are here at the space dock, it's pretty busy. There is, there's the usual hustle and bustle of a space dock attached to a hypergate. You can see many ships, large freighters, and commercial ships jumping in and out of hyperspace through the gate. There are various official-looking persons checking ship logs, manifests, finalizing coordinates for players making jumps, that kind of thing. So the spaceport is busy. There's a lot going on, and it has your range of conveniences, much like any international airport. There's weird souvenir shops. There's clothing stores. There are convenience stores offering medication and travel pillows, and there's that weird store that's got make the universe human again hats, that kind of stuff. So all that kind of that kind of stuff where you're like, this is a place that is trying to maintain some kind of balance with the many factions, well, the ones that are willing to play nice with the laws, at least. So yeah, that's kind of where you are. If there's anything you need, you probably will find some sort of way to get it here, but it might not be the highest quality, or it might not be as in depth as an experience as you might be looking for. And just a few quick things. As you're kind of heading off the ship, Luna, you get another message on your communicator. Another little email has popped up that you are free to address anytime. And there is, what have I got here? Vic, just as you're docking and you're heading out, you check in on your little Vosna propagation, and it looks a little bit smaller. Like it looks a little bit reduced from what you remember.
Does it look unhealthy?
No,
Okay.
but it's smaller. It seems. And Sib, you would know this because the Akiti is where you're from, and it's to deal with your parents' research. You know that most of the information you need to actually figure out what this all is would be in the possession of your parents and their research team.
Yeah.
But you know that you could also try and get that information another way. There are other people who do these kinds of excursions on the planet. There are some notable people on the planet as well, in terms of there is a Lost Legion, ex-Lost Legion mercenary who sells weapons and takes out hunting parties. There is there's a legit jungle hunter who wants to bring down large beasts to kind of mount skulls in his house, that kind of thing. So the fastest way to get the information would be to try and get it from your folks, or at least from their premises or their research team. But that would require going to the major settlement, which is known as Base Camp 1. So where it's full of research teams, but it's also full of security teams, and everyone is on edge there.
Yeah.
So you would know of ways to get in and out of get on and off planet, and people to talk to, and things like that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Luna's going to do that thing where you open your email and you go, oh, there's emails in here, and then you go, do I look at it? And you go, oh, emails suck. And then, well, if I leave it any longer, it could be important. And then open the email.
Have you gone back to your room? Are you just opening it on your communicator?
Opening it on the communicator. Yep.
Okay. there, like you open it and it there's no message, but there is.
This was a waste of my time. No, Karen.
Well, no, but there is a video file.
Oh.
As
She's
soon
like,
as
this could be spam. This could be spam.
You open
Yep.
the email and it auto plays.
Oh.
And you're walking through the cargo bay leading towards the ramp that goes in, and you don't. There's no image, but the cargo bay rings with the voice of Ken Dace, your father.
Ooh.
And the message you get is a recorded message that just says, "Lunadier, surely you understand that you cannot escape my view. I will tell you this. If you willingly come back, I will forgive the transgressions of you and your brother. We will move ahead with my plans for the family, and everything will be squared away nicely. There will be no repercussions. I will make sure that any indiscretions are either hidden or forgotten about or buried, and everything will move forward as I had planned. Should you continue to defy my wishes, just remember that I built that ship. I did. And I would never willingly let anything I made leave my control. I look forward to your reply." Bloop.
Am I aware? Can my communicator be? Is it easy to build a communicator?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I let out a scream of like frustration and rage, and then I think I'm in the cargo bay walking out. And then toss the communicator at the nearest wall. Yeah. I'm assuming it's small. In my head, it's like the size of, I don't know, the phone or whatever.
It's like just
Yeah.
Tony
like,
is
fully huck
definitely
it.
there. Tony surely is definitely there.
Yeah.
Tony's there. Like Matchstick was walking beside Luna.
Yeah. And then does that kind of like trauma dance? We're like, cool. Probably gonna glance at Matchstick. Be like, you heard that, didn't you?
Matchstick's like, no.
It's no, it's fine.
No.
It's fine.
No, I didn't hear nothing. I was what? He's even paler now.
Poor boy.
And you can hear you hear Tony just a few meters away from you. Or you just hear him like, well, shit.
I'm gonna tossing up between like throwing up or hitting something. I'll walk over and smash a panel with my fist. I'm assuming it hurts me more than it does the panel.
Yeah.
Scream in frustration again, and then head back up to the cockpit and see if I can start running anything in the system that will tell me if there's stuff in the ship, software-wise, that's running in the background, and giving him a video link somehow.
Okay. I mean, at a quick glance, you run diagnostics and everything seems fine.
Yeah.
You could try and probe a little deeper, but that would most likely be a hack roll.
Okay. I'll probe a little deeper and then I'll head to Levi.
Yeah, sure.
Because this is good.
Yeah, with the hack roll, this is you don't have any checks in hack, so this will be a disadvantage.
I'm singing now. You gotta dig a little deeper.
Cool. So with that,
Still a controlled position.
sweet.
So
With
you are rolling at disadvantage.
with nothing in hand. Okay, so how do you want me to roll that? Essentially.
Roll 2d6 and take the lower.
Sweet. Okay. Okay, I got a 6 and a 4.
A 4. Okay.
Yeah.
So you achieve like a reduced effect, basically.
Yeah.
It's like you're kind of aware
I
of
don't know
how
what I'm
this all
doing,
works.
be
Yeah,
honest.
and you nothing immediately jumps out.
Yeah.
So like you're gonna have to take a different run at this. And I mean,
cool.
yeah, heading to Levi is probably
Yeah.
a good idea.
I'm gonna get Levi.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind that my communicator is an extension, assumably, of like you were like, do you want to get it on your communicator or somewhere else? I can find the email somewhere else.
Yeah.
And play him the video. Yeah, cool. I'll play
Absolutely.
him the I'll head down and play him the thing. And as our father's voice fills the room again, I'm just doing the same like process.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah, Levi, you hear the message.
Yeah, so for the purposes of this little scene, Levi's kind of finishing up the hull repairs. We can do the mechanical bit on how well I've done that.
Sure.
Now we can do it later. I don't really mind. Up to you. But I think he's gonna. Yeah, just looking at Luna, being like, well, I mean, it's possible I missed something when I ripped all the systems out. I can do another dig while you do whatever you need to, but it seems enormously arrogant of him saying that he built this ship. I mean, he was pivotal in the design process, but I don't remember the last time that man had his hands on a wrench.
I hate this man.
Oh, I'm aware. I'm keenly aware. I'm not a fan of his either, but everybody came from somewhere. Unfortunately, we came from him.
Do what you can.
What do you want to do? I mean, we both know the clock's running here. The longer we stay here, the more likely it is somebody catches up to us.
I feel like we've only
pretty
been
clear he's chasing.
I feel like we've only been docked in the spaceport all of like 20 minutes at this point, Ellen.
Yeah, you haven't been here long at all. No.
Not long enough to. Is there any way of I'll head back to the cockpit and run another scan on the ships that I was concerned about in that secondary system.
Yeah. You can you pick up the signals. They have moved now. They're in the brick system. They're in the system you're about to go to.
Oh. Okay, I pass that on to Levi as well. Actually, yeah, I'll pass it on to Levi.
Okay, so Levi's going to finish up the repairs on the hull, and mechanically speaking,
Yes.
Fixing the hull and running the scan as a rig/hack thing is advancing the project clock on the signal scrambler.
It is indeed. Yes.
So like we've got kind of three mechanical things going on here as I dig.
Yeah. Right on. Sure. Yeah, go for it. Make a roll. This is again, it's a controlled position. You are aware of what you're trying to do. It's
Ooh, how exciting! I got 2 6s.
Hey, nice. So
Maybe
that
things are
will
looking
bump up. That will bump up the signal scrambler by 2. And it's an increased. Oh, actually, no. It does the 3 because that's the increased effect.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, you managed to. Does that mean you complete the scrambler? I think it does.
I'm one short.
One away. Yeah,
I'm
good.
one away.
All right. So you kind of work your way through the systems. There are three things you recognize or realize. One, the ship itself, the ship's code is basically riddled with like tertiary programs that are broadcasting your signal to a specific responder. So you gather that your father has always been tracking the ship. Like everything about the ship is feeding back to him. You also notice through the repairing of the hull breach, but also with kind of digging through the guts of the ship to kind of build the signal scrambler, that many parts of the ship, many physical parts of the ship have been infused with that fungus that Vic is growing. And not only that, but the ship is responding to the fungus. So in the parts where the fungus is present, power output is efficient, structural integrity has been improved, and the ability to manipulate parts of the ship is easier. But it appears that this fungus that Vic was growing has started to integrate into the ship. That's what you notice.
Okay, yeah. So I think, like, with all of that, I'm going to let Luna know that I've got a pretty keen idea on what how he's keeping track of us, and having sorted that out, or understood it better. I'm going to take that knowledge with me as I keep working on the signal scrambler, but I need a little more time on that to finish it. Might be able to get it done, but it's not going to be right this second. And then I'm going to head to the personal training bay and just start working the bag to, mentally work my way through whatever's going on right now.
Of course, the hallways resound with the of just someone kicking the crap out of a sandbag. Cool, okay, right on. I'm starting another clock. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a clock following how much of the fungus is integrated into the ship. It's currently at 2.
Cool. Rock on.
Yeah. And
I don't know if I would tell Luna about the fungus yet until I'm clearer on what's going on with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Like, it doesn't seem like a bad thing, but it's also a thing that I don't have I don't have a mechanics understanding of how it's doing what it's doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Luna's going to pop up to the cockpit and do similar personal training, but this training is going to involve half pilot sims and half, in essence, and half plotting courses, if that makes sense. And figuring out a bunch of plans to potentially stay here, wait for the ships if the ships are on their way here, and to basically essentially hopefully jump, and then them not necessarily know where we've gone. Although they do know where we are, and they know, anyway, just basically get a handle on it.
Yep. Okie dokie, cool. Radio. Excellent.
Cool.
Okie dokie, great. Now, Vic, Sib, in this period of downtime, is there anything y'all are doing as well?
Yes. So I think, Vic is very stressed right now. with
Yeah.
with what recently happened, and in the most mechanical and narrative sense. So my thought is that he sees the changes in the Vasna cultivar that he's been working with, and he wants to better understand that while also kind of decompressing from the immediate tangible tension and sort of expanding his consciousness beyond that. So definitely there's going to be some exploration with the Vasna and trying to understand what is happening to this entity, and then possibly trying to understand what's happening in terms of its integration into the ship as well. So if I could do that and also use that as a way to reduce stress, I think that would be the ideal for me.
Yeah. So we'll just take it as indulging in your vice to kind of de-stress, but also with more kind of narrative ideas around it. Yeah, go for it.
Am I making a roll? I'm sorry, what am I?
Oh, yes indeed. So to indulge your vice, you make an attribute roll using your character's lowest attribute rating.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it looks like I have a resolve with 1 check mark, so that would be 1 die.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, just roll 1d6.
And I rolled a 1.
That's fine.
Yep.
So you clear stress equal to your highest dice result, but you don't overindulge. So you do manage to relieve 1 stress.
All right.
Yeah. So there is a point where you sit and indulge, and just with the as you say, the very tangible amount of stress and tension that you're feeling, it's difficult to it almost feels like it's difficult to find your way into the communion, but you do eventually, and you feel your awareness broaden out into the communion. It's the communion of echoes, isn't it?
It is. Communion of echoes.
And there's the familiar sound of the multitude of voices around, and you remember previously that there were some voices that felt like they were displaced or misplaced, and you feel yourself naturally trying to listen specifically for those voices, and you can start to hone in on a few of those voices, and they seem you start getting a lot of emotional feedback, and you're able to sort of piece the emotional tidbits together into some sort of narrative, and you get the sense of a group of voices that they feel misplaced because they talk about being cut off or separated, and this idea that they were once part of the communion and then they weren't, and now that they have rejoined the communion, they seem different. And there's a strong sense of a tether, some kind of tether or anchor has been located, and the voices are there's a slight desperation to find that anchor and reattach to it. And as you listen closer, you get the sense that you are not the anchor, but your willingness to listen has been acknowledged, and you feel like you and other members of your crew have been acknowledged as a means of finding this anchor or this tether point and this point of reconnection. and it doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like a malevolent force, like a malevolent voice. It feels now that you've focused a little bit, it does feel familiar to the communion.
But it does not feel like the Xeron, the people who.
No,
This is
no, it
something
doesn't.
different. Yeah,
Something different.
Yeah.
Well, different in the sense that it's almost like the prodigal son. It is something that the Xeron recognize that was suddenly lost, but has since returned and is different. Hence why it seems so misplaced.
Okay. There's like a disharmony, even though it seems to be part of the chorus.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And have you ever consulted with the Xeron about other persons or voices being part of this communion, or have the Xeron always been like, it's just Xeron?
No. I mean, I think the way that Vic would have learned and been taught by the Xeron is that this is something that's pervasive throughout the cosmos, and that in one sense, everything is part of it. It's just that not all entities have an awareness that they are part of it. Yeah. At least that's his interpretation.
Yep. Yeah, great. Yeah. And that what you're hearing falls in line with that. This idea that something was part of the communion and then was lost or removed or taken away and has since come back and rejoined the communion, but it is different.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what you gather from there.
Okay.
Awesome. Sib, is there anything specific you are doing?
Yeah, a little bit. So while she's sort of taking care of 10 mil and 10 mil is taking care of her, she in between.
It's very kind of fraught self-care.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
She's been drawing what she saw. And so she's been drawing in her journals along with everything else. She's just kind of like added it in as part of like processing the hauntedness. Yeah. And I think she wants to sneak out of the ship. So she sort of like, kisses 10 mil tenderly, tucks her all in and stuff, and then sort of sneaks out to go look for. She knows that spaceports usually have like Xeno experts and you know, like information of a kind, like like you say, like not going to be particularly good, but might be something. So that's kind of what she's sneaking out to look for, like someone who sort of touts themselves as a bit of a know-how about different aliens and things, to see if she can figure out what this thing is that's like chasing them.
Sure. Cool. Could you give me an attune roll as you kind of hit the spaceport? It's pretty busy, but you feel like your connection to the way gives you a chance to kind of feel your way through people's kind of emotional profile.
I got a 6.
Cool, nice. There is you try to remain as inconspicuous as you can.
Hood definitely well up, like
it's that kind of thing where there's enough people there that it's no one's really watching anyone, because everyone, it's a spaceport. People have got places to be. There are like parents trying to get their kids to hustle, and like you see like 2 classic tourists like trying to look at different gates, and there's a point where you feel a strong presence within the way in a part of the spaceport, and you find yourself amidst various like curio antiques dealers and people selling like interesting exotic drinks. And there is your classic fortune teller.
Nice.
Set up in a stall. And you head in and you can see a woman very much like shawl, beads, crystals, like, you know, various things of jewelry. She's got those cool rings that are like full fingered with the like jeweled nails,
Yes.
like claws.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Sibylla
you
actually
did.
sits down heavily into the chair and is just like, oh, this is better. This is better. And she's like looking around and she's like, this is home. Oh, what you've done here is so lovely.
Yes, excellent. You see the woman, she sits there kind of like, you know, with her fingers, she's like, I am glad you enjoy. Would you like something to drink?
Yeah, actually, if
Of course.
yeah.
Would you care for something alcoholic or non-alcoholic?
Oh, anything to take the nightmares away. Alcohol usually better.
You see, she's like, she has like a knowing look in her eye, and she's like, that's the question, isn't it? And she returns with a tray. There's a like a fluted glass with a very almost like bioluminescent light blue liquid. And she just basically hands it to me. She says, this one is non-alcoholic, but will give you a sense of clarity.
And Sibby pulls out an umbrella that she's been
Little cocktail
saving
umbrella?
since
From the rusty barrel?
Yeah, she pulls out an umbrella and she puts it in it, and she's like, you have no idea how much I needed this today. And she just like, you know, sort of drinks it back. Yeah,
Lovely. Nice. It is. Yeah, it's a wonderfully, like, it's a crisp, you know, it has like a sharp, almost like a cranberry, that kind of sharp berry taste to it.
Nice.
And as you drink it, you feel there's a brief sense of kind of a little bit of the tension eases away, and you feel yourself kind of have just a little bit of that kind of
yeah.
So it feels good.
Yeah,
It's
nice. And she sort of looks at the lady, you know, knowing that she can feel that connection to the way, and just sort of says, do you know why I'm here?
You see, she smiles. She's like, from a business perspective, my role is to say, yes, of course, I knew you would come. But we both know that I have a strong idea.
Yeah, you can probably feel it in my aura, right? It's not great. I know, I've tried to fix it. And she pats what seemingly to anybody else would be air, but she's patting her own aura. And as she pats her aura, like, it sparks a little bit, but then it gets swallowed by the darkness again, you know? Yeah, she's like, sorry to bring this energy. But I feel like I need to understand what is hunting me, or my friends. Mostly my friends. I need to protect them as much as I can, and I can't do that if I don't understand. So, have you ever seen something like this before? And she just kind of opens her journal and shows like the picture that she's drawn as much as she can from memory, because it's all kind of
And there's a point where she takes the journal from you and looks, and she says, I have not seen this symbol, but that is to say that I have not witnessed this symbol with my human eyes. I may have seen this elsewhere. We can definitely explore that, if that's what you would like. In terms of, and you see her like gesture towards the space,
like a pricing board.
No, not at all. Yeah. In terms of my services, no, that's the prices are like they were out the front. It was very easy to see. Yeah, nice. But no, she gestures more towards you, and she's like, in terms of this, it's fairly obvious, and you feel her now like begin to reach forward with the way. And
before she does, she goes, I need to warn you, good Mrs. I have a hitchhiker. Just be careful.
Very well. Good to know. Thank you. And she reaches forward with the way, and there's a moment where Physically, she reaches forward and kind of just holds your hands and
Mm.
looks at you for a while. And she says, whoever or whatever has hitched a ride is either masking themselves or hiding or not making themselves known.
Mm.
But this heaviness, this pain and this trauma that feels quite recent, it has woven itself into parts of your fabric. So it will take time to unravel, should you wish to do so.
She kind of shivers, like she's seeing it again, like she's going through it again, you know, and like she shivers while she's holding her hand. Yeah, I know.
There is the link between you and whoever else is on board this, yourself, seems almost tentative or afraid. It feels like they shy away from my attention or my probing. But they very much, I gather they very much rely on you as much as you rely on the way. I don't sense anything, any ill intent or anything dangerous, for want of a better word. I don't think you are in any danger from whoever this is.
And she points to like the other page in the journal where she's drawn like the creature that tore its way through the hull, and she's like, what about from this?
She looks at it and there's a moment where you see her expression change and she's like, well, that is not unlike anything. Have you heard of a group of persons? There is a faction, she said, bringing up her list of factions.
Yes. She's opening like a big heavy tomb right now.
Yeah,
you know, like,
pulls out a Rolodex.
Yeah.
But no, she does open, and she's like, there are a group of people who are sensitive to the way, much like you and I are, and they are known simply as the Agony. You and I both are aware that when we attune to the way, we open ourselves up to the void, and we are aware of other beings, other creatures that exist within
Of course.
Within that experience. And the Agony are a group of persons much like ourselves who have willingly agreed to allow these beings to subsume themselves. It is not dissimilar to what your situation is with your hitchhiker, your visitor, but this doesn't appear to be causing you any kind of harm, not directly at least, whereas these persons within the Agony, these members of the Agony, willingly undergo intense pain and suffering, hence the name of the faction. It is a horrible bargain of sorts. They gain increased abilities through their use of the way by allowing themselves to suffer so. They believe it is the entire point of attuning to the way. The rest of us disagree. But
No, the way is beautiful. It is not agony.
very much so. But the way is beautiful in the way that a well-made knife is beautiful.
No,
It has
of course.
it has its edge. And these people prefer to pierce themselves upon that edge. They are dangerous. If they have been following you, then I dare say it's a connection to your passenger. So,
Am I putting my friends in danger?
well, they're in danger, yes. Are you putting them in danger? I don't think so.
I always thought my connection to the way was the way that I could protect them.
It is, absolutely.
But it could also be the way that I let things in.
Well, that's always a risk that we take.
I just never really understood that before, I guess. The way that I got connected wasn't exactly my choice in the first place, so...
There are many dangers in this world. And the fact that a faction like the Agony is following you is more danger than most of us will likely encounter in our lives. But it's not the only danger that you bring about.
She nods kind of strongly to herself, and she's like, I firmly believe that my passenger needs me to protect them. I do not believe that they would have connected to me in some sort of takeover if they didn't have to, if they had any other choices. So what you've said today reaffirms that for me, and yes, I feel like I have to help them.
Of course. You have a remarkable gift, and it has the potential to do incredible things. But as always, with any kind of power comes responsibility. I heard that somewhere. It's one of the ancient teachings.
Good advice, yeah.
But
okay.
Take heart, young one. The guest that you have doesn't mean you any harm. And I believe you have the right idea. Perhaps they need you to protect them. You already have the intention to protect your friends. So I think you are heading in the right direction.
Yeah,
sure.
Sibby stands and she says, as she sort of kind of gives like a little nod bow. And it's like, I hope I haven't brought trouble to your door. Perhaps it would be best if you eliminated any essence of me.
Very well. Thank you for the warning. I will take precautions.
Yeah. And Sibby sort of like backs out of, the tent and kind of looks around and is like, man, I need a real drink after that. She's taken her cocktail umbrella back with her, by the way, and tucked it back down into her robes, and so she goes and finds a bar, has a drink, probably finds somebody in the bar to have more than a drink with, because that's one of her stress eliminators. So she will probably
Sure.
go and do that, because she's quite high in stress. Like, mechanically, I need to do that or I could be in trouble.
Yeah, go for it. Roll to indulge your vice as you head to one of the bars and catch the eye of someone.
Yeah. How do I roll to indulge my vice again?
So you make a roll based on whatever is your lowest attribute. So you have 2 in insight, 2 in prowess, and 3 in resolve. So you roll 2 dice.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yep. And whatever.
Oh, nice! I got a
whatever
net. I got a net. I got a 6.
I got a 6. Now here's the thing. If your vice roll clears more stress than you had marked, for instance, you have how much
4
stress?
marked.
4, and you've rolled a 6, and normally you would remove that amount of stress. Now, you have overindulged.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, your overindulgence there are some things that come into play. 1, you can choose between either rash action, big talk, or lost. Lost is a bit different. Lost is like you literally vanish for a few weeks.
Right.
But in terms of this game, we probably won't go with that option. So you can either...
I was going to say, you could make it that I'm lost and they have to come find me before they can leave.
We could play with that. Yeah, sure.
But what are the other ones?
The other options are rash action or big talk. Rash action is you reduce your stash by 4, or if you can't, the crew goes into 2 debt.
Okay.
Or there's big talk where you brag about your exploit and the crew gains 2 heat.
Hilarious.
So maybe in, you know, when you're post-coital, you start talking about things you've done, and you maybe have gained some heat, or you're in your attempt to kind of indulge while you were at the bar. Maybe something happened and you've ended up costing the crew, and now you're in debt. So it's up to you. Like, I mean, I like the idea of you being kind of the crew realizing that you've been gone for like a day.
Like, just like they go to leave and I'm
Yeah,
not
they're like,
on
whoa,
the
whoa,
ship.
whoa, wait, yeah. So I mean, that's up to you. That's up to you.
No, I think I would try and be more responsible than that, but I'm also irresponsible. So I would probably end up. I think I would end up costing the ship. I've probably because my whole thing is pleasure. I like to indulge in the highest quality, and I've gone and got
that's expensive.
like,
yeah,
correct. Yeah, I've gone and got myself top tier indulgence, which was amazing, but cost us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you cleared all that stress, but now the crew takes 2 debt. So the ship, the crew is in debt.
I come back and I feel great.
Oh yeah, you feel fantastic. Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
I'll click the debt for the ship.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Indulging. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I will also point out that as you were in the bar, just before you left for your next tier of indulgence, you saw a very familiar young man with his angry goggles on his head, sitting at the bar. He saw you, but he didn't speak to you on the comms, so he didn't recognize you. But you remember seeing the image of him.
Can I retcon slightly then? Can I invite him to come with me on my?
Sure, absolutely.
I tell him,
Absolutely.
man, you look like you've had like the worst time. You know, I've just got like myself a little tree, and I feel like you should come with me.
Okay. He introduces his name as Rian.
Okay.
And he's like, he's like, you wouldn't believe I I'm trying to move up in the world, and he gives you the sub story about being from like having no kind of prospects and no and then he's like found a way to kind of get a bit of influence, and he heard about this. He originally wanted to join this gang or this faction called the Echo Wave Riders, who are literally just like basically just like boy racers, and they build these ships and they race along a jet stream of stellar matter coming out of the sun, and they build these machines that ride those jet bursts. But that requires you to you need to get a reputation of doing like wild and crazy out there things. So he took to trying to be like a space pirate.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been going well. But he's like, he feels like he's really got to make an impact, he's got to do something to kind of get the attention of the Echo Wave Riders.
Yeah.
And then it's like, he's trying to like get he's trying to get the attention, of this really big, there's this big, like massive, the leader is like this big bald dude, called like Ben Friesel. He's always raving about family and stuff. It's wild. He's like, I want to be part of the Echo Wave Riders, man. But yeah, he has, it's top tier indulgence, man. He has the best fucking time.
Yeah, nice.
Absolutely.
As I'm parting, I kind of remind him that, I actually tell him who I am as I'm leaving. So I totally tell him, oh yeah, we saw how good you were. I meant to say before, your ship is really fast, but you really should scan for weapons before you take on a ship. But because like you took on ours. Do you remember me? You probably don't remember me.
You see that as you're explaining, there's that moment where he's like, kind of like, he's like sitting draped in sheets and stuff, and he's like, what?
Yeah, and I'm like, because I've got kinetics, like I just lift things across like his view, to just kind of be like, surprise button. And I'm like, yeah, I really think though you could use that. Like you took on, like, can you do me a favor and not tell people that you've like met me, and I'll tell you something cool that you can tell people later.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, you bet, absolutely, yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so that ship is stolen from, and I say the name of like, and you totally tried to take us on and tried to like board us, and that's really cool. And like you could tell people that you totally like boarded me because you kind of just did. And I feel like you could really like use this to your advantage when you're like talking to other people about how something crazy that you did and lived to tell about it. Because I really feel like you shouldn't have lived through that exchange, but I'm really happy we did. Because like, look, we just had this fantastic time, but like, you really shouldn't have lived. Just saying.
Yeah.
and like watching all of that emotion just break over his face, and I'm like, I was naked, but I was like putting on my clothes as I was having this conversation and being like, I really need to go because like we're only here for like a really short time. So like, we've got shit to do, but this has been great. And honestly, if I come across you again, let's do this again. Like,
fantastic. So
he told me he wasn't going to tell anybody, but
he and you can see in his face, like he's like, I will never tell a soul. It's that moment he's like in Team America, where she's like, if you promise me you'll never die, and he's like, I promise I will never die. He's like, I will not tell anyone. In fact, you gain a +1 status with the Durnek gang
nice.
because of this. Right on, fantastic, great. I thought you were just going to make fun of him at the bar, but nope. You did not. Right on. Okay, yeah, hell yeah.
I want to make a friend.
Lovely. Yeah, definitely a friend. Yeah, well, yeah, that's a word.
Can I put him down as a ally now?
Yeah, you can absolutely. If you ever meet Rian again, he will. Yeah, he's enamored. He's definitely enamored of you.
Perfect.
Sib is now Rian's Canadian girlfriend, who's totally a model and goes to a different school.
Totally real. She's totally real. She's not made up. Yeah.
I go back to the ship and I tell you guys that I met Angry Eyes Guy, and he's not so bad. And that's all I say.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah, that's all she says. But shortly after she arrives, you get the invoice from the various establishments that Sib frequented. Yeah, you guys are in debt.
I love that. I feel like I'm gonna get more trouble from Luna than anybody on this. Like it's so like Sib sees the invoices turn up and she just goes into her room.
Yeah. Yeah, Sib,
Luna's already having a bad day.
Yeah, Sib was like literally charging it to the ship account. Yeah.
Don't yell at me, Luna. Like this isn't me. I haven't left the ship since we got here. I'm not the problem today. You go yell at somebody that did leave. I'm going back. I'm going back to workbench. Don't even. Not today.
Flick's bylaws are around here somewhere. We've got processes.
Right here. I've got them right here. Here you go.
Oh, processes. I thought you were just going to hit them with it because it's a pretty thick sheet.
Roll it up tight. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. All right. Well, tell you what, gang, it's 1:30. So let's take a quick break just to mull over the potential ramifications of Sib's little excursion. And we'll come back soon. And then we'll see what happens. Jules, that was brilliant. That was absolutely brilliant, Jules.
Yeah,
so good.
All right, we'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Yeah. Right on, gang. All right, I'm going to assume that was the nod. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Scum and Villainy. Just before the break, the crew had docked at a spaceport, and we're going through some of the downtime activities to remove stress and kind of get a handle on any kind of next steps of their maybe some project clocks and some new story developments from various characters. Seb had a great time. Everyone else had an average time, I'd say. But here we are with the ship currently docked at the spaceport. Sib has retreated to her room as the invoices for her overindulgence have arrived at the ship. But here we are. You know that your next step is to make the jump into the brick system, ideally within a day or two's flight from Akiti, the planet where Sib's family and their research was based, the place where you think you're most likely to find answers about this strange being that has hitched a ride with Sib, the markings on the cryopod, exactly what or who or where this thing is. And also you might also find some more answers for some of your other questions that some of you may have. Luna is aware that the ships that you assume are in the employ of your father are also in the brick system on the other side of the jump gate. As well as, remember, the original job, the original signal you were sent to investigate is also in the brick system. Yes, is there anything else you'll want to deal with or roleplay your way through before we dive into the next step?
Okay, so there is one thing I want to do, but I want it to be the last thing we do just before we leave port.
Gotcha, sure.
So mechanically, what I want to do is try and finish that signal scrambler clock.
Okay.
And so, like, narratively in my head, it's like Levi seeing all of this information coming in, goes and, like, brews a quad strength pot of coffee and just essentially ingests a dangerous amount of caffeine to try and, like, navigate his way through all of the things, work out all of these signals that are coming through and how he can intercept, adjust, and resend them to where they're going. And just, like, have that so that the last thing they see is that the ship is still, like, was still docked at this port, so that they won't see us leave. They won't see us jump, and they won't see us when we get into the brick system.
Sure.
And for that, I would like to spend a gambit.
Ooh.
Yeah, okay, good. Okay.
Like I want to roll for it, but I'm also like...
Yeah, you want to use a gambit? No, that's good, because this is going to be risky, because you're pushing yourself now.
Oh, yeah.
And like Tony, and even like 10 mil kind of hobbles into the engineering to try and help you. So you've got the team, but it's risky. So yeah, go for it, man.
Hey, cool.
While that's rolling, is there anything else anyone wants to deal with before you dust off and jump?
Can we assist in some way?
You absolutely can. You can assist if you want. That adds an extra d6 to his roll. But if there are any consequences, you will share them.
I feel like that's apt. Yeah.
So a gambit adds a d6 to,
Yes.
And then you're assisting.
Yep,
Yes.
which is another d6.
Yeah.
Come on, Philly, roll this 6 like I told you to. Ooh.
Yes, there are eyebrows. I see eyebrows.
That is an exciting distribution.
Oh, okay.
So rolled 6d6.
Oh my god.
2 6s,
Oh.
2 1s,
Oh,
a 3 and a 4.
Okay. The 2 6s is great. So
proving
you get,
math.
yes, you get increased effect. So you will complete the signal scrambler, and you also get an increased effect, which that's up to you. So you can narrate how you over-engineer this thing and what that gives you.
Okay, so my hope would be that basically what I can do in this exact moment, like while we are in port, surrounded by other ships that are also docked, I would want to piggyback our old signal, not like the entirety of all of the signals, but like I can pick 2 or 3 of them, because I'm assuming there's dozens, because why not? If you're putting in one bug, put in more. But take the signal from 2 or 3 and just like digitally stitch them into the transponders for other ships around us, and just do that like wirelessly, so that suddenly our ship disappears, but now there are 3 of our ship at the port that hopefully are all heading in different directions when they leave.
Right on. Excellent.
Like it wouldn't fool anybody long term, but I don't need long term. I just need a bit of tinsel while we dust off.
Yeah, awesome. Right on. Excellent. So you complete the signal scrambler, which is great, which will remove 1 pip from the Imperium tracking clock, which is good. Cool. And you get set to jump through. So Luna, you and Matchstick line the ship up, and you're getting ready. And Matchstick looks up and he's just like, "Yep, everything's good to go, boss. Whenever you give the signal, we'll go."
Sweet. Let's bounce.
He's like, "All right." He like punches in the coordinates, and you kind of see the clearance, like bling, clearance notification, and you see Matchstick like reach up and hit a button for the radio, and he starts playing Sabotage by the Beastie Boys as the ship like and like it doesn't take long at all, but within moments you arrive kind of out of the hypergate into the brick system. And as you land in the system, you do a quick scan, and Aketi is like a day and a half away. The signal, the original kind of signal from the original job, is a good like 2 or 3 days away. It's kind of on the other side of the system.
Sweet.
And you can you see now the signals from the Imperial ships are like littered around the system. They're fortuitously, none of them are near Aketi. You can see that at least 3 or 4 are near the original signal that you were headed towards.
Ooh, hate that.
And there are a number of them. They appear to be docked in Nightfall, which is a planet, and Nightfall is like your classic kind of like in like urbanized planet. It's very much like to use Star Wars analogies, like it's a cross between kind of Coruscant and Nar Shaddaa, where there's like it's an economic planet. There's like all the things to do. There's like shopping, there's nightclubs, there's bars, there's like racing guilds, there's street races, there's skydiving, all sorts of things. There's like Nightfall is just, it's called Nightfall because it's positioned, the city is built in a place where nighttime is actually only 2 hours long and the day is 12 hours long. If I'm reading that correctly, let me just double check.
I think like
I believed you.
As we've come through the gate, like Levi had be heading up to the cockpit briefly, was being like, "Look, don't worry about it too much. None of the ships can see us unless they look out the window. So as long as we don't get within visual distance, we can pretty much move how we want to right now. So
Excellent. Thank you.
space
I
is big.
won't
Make use of
vomit
that.
on Ginger, which I'm sure he will appreciate. I say out loud.
Yeah, you see, Ginger was like,
Yeah, I'm like, I won't.
"You were
I
gonna
won't, thank
vomit
you.
on me?"
Yeah, she stress vomits.
Just
It
a little bit.
happens
Just a little bit,
sometimes.
you know.
That's why I try not to stress her out. But like, I'm down in the engine most of the time.
You see, yeah, Ginger's just like, "What the fuck?"
No, I give him a shove on the shoulder, and I'm like, no, I'm just messing with you. Okay,
He's like, "Cool, great."
She's not
just a little bit.
messing with
No,
Yeah.
no, just
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Awesome.
So, yeah,
Okay.
so you're gonna
Get
head
a course
towards.
to Akiri,
Akiri,
and
yeah.
avoiding any of the visual range of any of the
Yes.
ships that I think
Yes.
would be looking
Any-
for us.
Empirical entanglements.
Hate that.
Cool. Okay. All right then. So now we need to think about the plan as the ship is headed towards Akiti. What is the plan? Yeah. You know that the plan is to get to the surface, find a way to get the information about what this symbol means, what this cryopod is, who or what the entity inside the cryopod might be. So how as a group, how do you want to do this? Like, are you just gonna turn up, Sib, and be like, "Hey, I'm back"?
I think Sib is probably frantically in her room trying to figure this out, knowing that people are going to come to her room soon and either yell at her or ask her questions, and she wants to be ready with answers to questions in case they decide not to yell at her. So she's in her room busily trying to figure out like best ports. Like she's kind of like drawn herself like a little map of like, okay, this port is like less monitored than this one is, so maybe that one's a good one. Like she's trying to rack her way of a good way to get onto the thing without she's like, maybe the safety inspector again. I mean, it worked really well last time. It's like she's written that as like one of the notes that, you know, like could that work, you know? Trying to could we pose as like supply ships so that, you know, like we could
absolutely.
Yeah. Like
You know
yeah, so
that-
she's
you know
just
that if
writing a
you're
bunch
trying
of notes.
Yeah, you know
Yeah.
that if you're trying to enter, like if you're trying to land at Base Camp 1 under legitimate reasons, you will have to deal with Asha Ravan, who is like Base Camp 1's commander.
Yeah.
And she is like, she's relentless in her pursuit of like maintaining the safety of Base Camp 1.
Yeah,
You know what I
which so Sibby's thinking that it might even be better to park up at Mainport, look for a legit job to transport stuff to base camp and try and deal with it like that, because base camp is constantly needing supplies.
Yeah.
So maybe we could pick up a mini contract to deliver and then sneak out somehow.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, there's it's interesting as you're kind of heading towards Akiti, when you bring up like the planetary information, you learn that it's like it's a verdant kind of jungle world, which would have been more settled were it not for the incredibly hostile natural life. There are carnivorous plants, rampaging beasts, hyper aggressive fish. It's basically the planet Australia, and there's a little like tag, like a footnote that says, "Akiti, nobody comes here who doesn't have to."
Nice.
It says
Amazing.
the planet hates you and the jobs are hard to find. Even bounty hunters pass by.
You still have family and friends and contacts here, Sib?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys all piled into her room or whatever.
Yeah.
Or if you come and got her and dragged her out.
No, come to your room. We'll come to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
How's it going in
So
here?
she's fussing. She's fussing over 10 mil still. Like, and she has been every time she's been in here. She's been fussing over 10 mil. Yeah.
I think Levi's just hanging off the door frame, like mostly in the hall, because there's not a lot of room in there.
No.
No.
Do you have like a desk and a chair kind of setup?
Yes, probably.
Luna sat in the chair and she's spinning in it.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Whee! Just
And Sibby is watching Luna.
The best way for her to
because
process.
Yeah.
Luna hasn't brought up the invoices yet, and it's like it's very like waiting
Eggshells,
for
yeah.
something bad to happen. So it's trying really hard. She's got a lot of drawings that she's made that she's like pulling out for people to see, and then like telling you a lot about the history of the place, and telling you, yes, I have family and friends here, but remember they're all looking for me because
and while you're doing this, you kind of there's this moment where 10 mil kind of hobbles past you, and she has made like two kind of drinks, like a hot tea, and she like hands you one, and then like absent-mindedly, like as she hands it to you, she like leans down and like kisses you on the cheek.
Yeah, and I just and I do the thing where you lean your cheek forward because you know it's coming. Yeah.
And she like leans down to kiss, and as she does, she remembers that the entire crew is in the room. And there's a moment where she's like,
yeah, we both both do the side eye thing, like so obvious.
And she like hobbles back to her bed, which is not hidden. Like her bed is right there, and just like clambers into bed and like grabs the blankets, and then is like. And like rolls.
Yeah. And so Siv has done that thing where she leans forward to be like, and then she's like, and then just big grin, like, so the planet.
Yes, so. Yeah.
Heaps subtle, guys.
Yeah.
Heaps.
Yes, but you tell them about the planet, and you come up with a plan.
Cool. Yeah, and so I guess Siv passed us on that she thinks maybe about the delivery thing. Like maybe that might be the best way to pretend that we're there, because that gives us a legitimate reason for being at Base Camp 1. Yeah.
Do we need to check in with the Guardian of Base Camp 1 at all to legitimize our presence?
We'll need to check in first with Mainport and get deliveries, get things to deliver to Baseport. They'll tell them we're coming, so that will legitimize our approach. We won't at least get shot before we even get anywhere near it. Then I'm not really sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, maybe we'll earn some legit coin.
We are curious. That's kind of our thing.
I know.
Paint a big arrow on the side of the ship.
Yeah. What do you guys think? Is it an okay plan?
Seems reasonable until it goes to shit, but for now it sounds great.
Yeah.
I like simple plans. Simple plans give us room to improvise when inevitably we need to.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well then, let's talk about this engagement roll. So you automatically start with 1d6. Now, is this operation particularly bold or daring? Or is it overly complex or contingent on many factors?
I think it's bold. I don't know if I call it daring, but like it's certainly it's
given what we've heard
classy.
about this commander of Base Camp 1. It sounds like,
given that we have Sibby on board.
And we're not going in honestly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't think it's complicated though.
Is the plan detail in does it expose the vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest, or is it very strong, or do they have a particular defense against these special preparations you've taken?
Well, I think we're hoping
it may not.
We're hoping to get around the defense. Yeah.
Like it's not about hitting them where they're weakest, it's just hitting them where they're not looking. That's not quite the same thing as hitting them where they're weak.
Yeah.
It's probably not strong there either, because again, supply runs.
So we probably
supply.
there's probably there's no extra or
that's neither here nor
not a
there.
plus or minus. Can any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight for this operation? Oh, another thing I will point out actually is Nightfall, being the happening planet that it is host to the latest Ada Black concert.
Oh, nice.
Like Ada's doing a tour, and her there's a concert.
She got a residency on Nightfall.
Not quite a residency, but
10 days.
It's more that she's doing a tour, so she's going to be in Nightfall for a few days, doing a concert.
Sick.
And they're like incredible, like Super Bowl halftime kind of deals. As soon as you like kind of got onto the system, you just got a system-wide notification. Your classic like system-wide
That makes
spam
sense.
where they're like,
Ding, 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 ding,
upcoming
ding, ding.
events in the Breck system. Ada Black.
Welcome to the Breck system.
Yeah.
This cycle includes these events.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
one of them
so-
is, Ada Black.
Sounds fun.
Her Back in Black tour.
Yeah, so if anybody asks what we're doing, we're just trying to get some extra coins so we can go blow it at the Ada Black concert.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Truth.
Again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Which is not a lie.
Yes.
Cool.
Yep.
I mean, I'm just throwing this out here. All right. And feel free to shoot it down. But if Ada's going to be here in the system, or she is here right now, who's to say Ada doesn't want to do a kind of safari run on Aketi? And of course, she's going to need some people to come with her to help keep her safe. I mean, look, all I'm saying is the courier job, that's one possibility, but it requires us to sneak out, right? Like that is a potential flaw in it. But if we call Ada, see if she feels like going to visit, Aketi and get some up close and personal time with some dangerous wildlife, because
Yeah, but I don't know why
apparently
she would
being
call.
incredibly wealthy would be boring.
Yeah, I don't know why she would call us for that when there's an ex-Lost Legion like hunter leader down on the planet.
I'm not being funny or nothing. So that's why we're calling her for the favor. We ask her to go there, and we go as her security.
Is that
Okay.
putting Ada at risk?
Yeah.
Potentially.
And also pissing off
An
her current
intergalactic
security.
superstar. We're not going to necessarily
I'm
be
not saying
traveling.
they can't come with
incognito.
it. I'm just saying.
We can that can be plan B if
Okay.
there are no courier supply runs to pick up. If one's already run this week.
Okay. I'm just throwing things out there. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, and I exactly. I just wanted to point that out because Ada is in the system.
Cool.
Cool. And now, are there any other elements you might want to consider in terms of? So far, you've got 2d6
Right.
for this engagement roll.
Yeah.
More than
Did
that.
anybody else have any other allies that could help with anything, like information or anything? Mine aren't particularly helpful, probably here.
On Arketi?
Yeah, weird. I've got a former teacher, which is like the opposite of a friend. So, yeah.
Do you think this friend, this ex former teacher, is still on this planet and is going to be a problem?
I think he travels but visits back, like brings back his information and then shares it with teachers,
Sure.
Like based on what he's learned about
Okay.
elsewhere. But
Okay, so
I don't
let's say
know.
when you do your engagement roll, if it doesn't go well, there is a high chance that this person will be here.
Yeah, and probably in port because that's what he does, like travels.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Do we think
okay,
Darian-
So far you've got 2.
Do we think Darian, as like all of our friends, would have any information?
Like, yeah, you can definitely try and get in touch for sure.
Mm.
Never hurts to ask.
Yeah.
And by ask, we mean add a d6 to the roll pool.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
do mean.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, that would
And
work. Yep.
then I was just thinking about the street races you said exist on Nightfall. I
Yep.
think it's entirely possible that Luna's visited Nightfall before, and
With her thirst for speed, yes,
exactly,
absolutely.
and as a result has friends amongst these street races who may also have further information, given they're in the same system.
Yeah, right on.
And
yeah.
if everyone's fueled by adrenaline, they've probably visited Arketi because they're like,
oh yeah,
love speed over here, want to go get bitten by
Yeah,
whatever
love the-
exists in
love the
Arketi.
danger
Who
of
knows how
distance,
that'll
yeah.
go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm mentally seeing the hover bikes from Return of the
Yeah.
Jedi,
yeah,
but in space Australia rather than space redwood forests of California.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Just like just kind of like illegal jungle races where every now and
Yeah.
then one of the riders is like taken out by something.
Sometimes it's a tree, sometimes they get eaten.
Giant
Yes,
snake.
sometimes it's a
Yes.
tree, sometimes it's a tree with teeth.
Yes,
Yeah, cool.
Cool.
Right on. So that gives us what, 4?
I think so.
Okie dokie, gang. All right, let's roll this up. Do we want one? Do you want to roll one each?
One each, I reckon.
Because there's 4 years.
I love that for us.
Okay.
Scottish Jeff was asking what can bits do to help. So one of the ways, Jeff, we've got for bits to help is to give the team gambits so that when they have to make rolls, they can add a gambit, which gives them an extra d6. Okey-dokey. However,
I
for this
got a
engagement
3.
roll, I don't believe you can add gambits to an engagement roll.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good to know.
And I was thinking
I got a
back
3.
to the whole Ada discussion that we had, and I'm wondering maybe not. It wasn't a job that we might try to get her involved with, but what if we were able to leverage some like VIP sort of badges or some sort of access that might help us with greasing some bureaucrats, that kind of thing. Maybe like we're
Concert
VIP
tickets?
guests or something. Yeah, well, definitely,
Oh,
we definitely want
we're
concert
guests?
tickets. There's no
Oh, yeah,
question.
okay, gotcha. Mhm.
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
was
if that
really
would-
looking forward to being side of stage for a gig. Like, we very rarely get to be there for it.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to do it this time as a crew. We were going.
This is no
We'll make it.
coincidence.
That's. We'll get there. After
Yeah, for sure.
all
for
the
sure.
other. There's just a couple problems to deal with on the way, just minor ones.
Minor, very, very minor. Cool. Okay. Yeah. Let's. What are the results of these rolls?
I got a 3.
Aha. I see. Okay. That's a
5.
3. Oh, 5 is so far. 5 is the highest. All right.
4.
Okay.
6.
6. Ooh, Em pulling it through. Okie dokie.
Clutch.
6 is a
Come
good
in
result.
clutch. The
Nicely
blue
done.
dice has
good
been going really
result.
well for me.
So you're in a.
Not
You will
touching the rest
be.
of them.
This means you will be in a controlled position when the action starts.
Cool.
So you boost down to
Thanks,
main
Jeff.
port, and you find it's very easy to kind of just say, look, we're couriers. You need something shipped, we can ship it, and you get a large shipment of supplies headed for Base Camp 1.
Heck yeah.
Because of the size of your cargo hold, you can take quite a lot. So when you arrive at Base Camp 1, the sheer size of the cargo that you're offloading gives you actually gives you a means of subterfuge, because it's so much. You hand the shipping manifest off to like the kind of dock master, who then spends so much time kind of going through everything with Zarahan. Is it Zarahan? Pardon me. With Asha Ravan. So the commander comes out to try and talk to you, but just gets kind of swamped by the bureaucracy that you are. You bypass that, and you are in. You're kind of in Base Camp 1 now.
You're probably going to want to count this. Some of the boxes felt a little light when they were handing off to us. Look, obviously you can see the hold. It's we haven't got anything in there, but just double check the counts, right? I'm
You
not
see the
saying
doc-
it's wrong.
you see-
I'm saying
doc-
it
yeah.
might be.
The dock master's like, yeah, okay, yeah, that happens a lot. All right. And yeah, you can see Asha Ravan like a, this is a woman who has she's seen some shit. She has one of her eyes is kind of half lidded because of a massive scar down one side of her face. She's got your classic buzz cut. She looks like she could like, she could punch a hole in a person. She's massive.
Yeah.
And she is wearing combat fatigues, and kind of like starts striding forward. She's got a massive gun on her hip, But as she gets closer and kind of begins talking to the dockmaster, you can see you see a woman who's exhausted. She's so fucking tired.
Oh.
Like, and also Sib, you know, like Base Camp 1 is constantly under siege
Under
from
attack. Yeah.
from the very world around it.
Yeah.
So this is a woman who just is, she's relentless because she has to be.
Yeah.
But she looks so exhausted, and as she's talking to the dockmaster, she kind of briefly glances over at you before going back, and there's like, you just see like a tired and jaded, you know, security officer.
Yeah. And Sib has covered up her like usual kind of quite colorful, you know, mage-like clothing with like just a plain boring, you know, poo brown cloak. And it's just like tightened everything around her, trying to hide who she is, basically. And is busy in a conversation with one of the like the people picking up cartons and stuff, and just being like, "Oh, that one there though, that's for the banshee. Leave that one alone."
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right on.
Because I realized like in the container hold, in that other container, is that capsule.
So the cryopod. Yeah.
So we've probably hidden that.
Well, that's just with your supplies. That's not with the supplies you were doing.
Right. Cool. Great.
But yeah, you make sure that they're aware, and they're like, oh yeah, gotcha. Yeah, you can see once you kind of get into Base Camp 1 proper, there are tall walls, and you can see atop them like heavily armed guards, constantly on patrol, looking out towards the jungle. You pass by a couple of research crews. Sib, you can hear one of them excitedly talking about an excursion they've got planned towards a ritual site. And you remember your parents and yourself visiting this ritual site, and it's a plateau on a mountain that scholars maintain was a site of reflection and meditation. You know from your experience with your parents that it actually wasn't. It was actually a ritualistic sacrifice site. But you know what? They'll figure it out when they get there.
Oh, damn.
You can see you pass by a group of, probably they look like hunters. At a closer glance, you realize they're most likely poachers in the way that they're being a bit sketchy with how they're prepping their gear and like checking their weapons and stuff, but they're always kind of looking out for, and they get a bit tense when the security walks past them. There is a almost like a street coffee stall, and you can see that seated at two stalls is a nervous looking scientist. Sib, you recognize this as a member of your parents' research team. And they're in a hushed conversation with with either a business person or probably a smuggler. And they have this conversation. They're having a hushed conversation, and as the barista comes over with their kind of coffees, you hear the conversation very loudly switch to something benign, and then once the barista leaves, they kind of get hushed again and start talking. So you're kind of in the midst of this bustling kind of active base. There are a number of different types of people moving past you. Seb, are you just going to head straight towards your the information, or?
No, I think what she does is she sort of because she grabbed Vic like very like hard around the arm when she saw somebody from her family, and then like put her head down to kind of demonstrate, you know, and then she sort of pulls Vic and kind of gives everybody like the under her cloak the eye and like, you know, head woggle to walk towards where it's like standard kind of like food cafeteria kind of place, which is very common for people arriving at Base Camp 1 to grab some food while they're waiting for their ship to get offloaded or whatever. She chooses a table where she can see like the whole camp to
Yep.
kind of like grab food and sit down at. And
Yeah,
then,
sure.
you know,
you're up on a raised level now, overlooking
Yeah.
the main kind of square.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
And then as she's sitting there, she sort of goes, okay, we're here. Okay. And she's like looking at you guys like,
Have we been made? Did you see someone?
no, it's just they're kind of everywhere.
Hmm.
And over there, that's my parents and their scholarly camp. And honestly, by the sounds of that excursion party, nobody's caught up to them and the knowledge that they have. So I think I'm gonna have to break in there. I was kind of hoping if we heard other conversations, then maybe someone might have caught up to them in their researching. But I think
So we're paying a house call
as-
to your parents?
As Sib is having this conversation and you're at the table, she's looking out at the square. You can see behind her, whether or not Sib has noticed this, you see a poster plastered to the wall, and it is an image of a very young Sib, with arms upraised in a pillar of light, with the slogan that says, "The Church of the Enlightened seeks to answer all your questions."
I think Levi's just going to be sitting across the table from her, looking from the poster to her, the poster to her. Sib, are you in a cult?
And she turns to look at Levi with big like wide eyes, like really hoping you wouldn't ask me that question.
Because the answer's yes, because
Well-
the answer's complicated, or because the answer's no.
Let's go with the middle one. I would rather not be in a cult. It just seems to be that the cult kind of revolves around me, so I don't really know how to not be in the cult. Do you know what I mean?
You
And
are
she's
the
saying
cult.
this. She's saying this, and she's pulling her hood like further over her face,
Like
and
Levi just kind of grabs her eyes and moves to the poster and goes, "Yeah, I'm kind of getting that impression."
Sib, you've never seen this poster before.
and like she kind of turns around to look at it. Oh god, how far did they go after I left? That's a really old picture of me.
Apparently, at least this far.
The church.
Were you so you're not just in a cult, you are the cult. Were you the cult before you left?
Well, my parents were going kind of weird, and they kept like saying lots of things and basing it around the thing that happened to me out in the ruins where this symbol was. And I honestly, I ran away because they were being like super bizarre and really intense, and I didn't want anything to do with that. How do they have a cult about me if I'm not here?
They are going to be really happy to
I
see
think-
you. I mean, at least we've established that fact.
Wait. I just
think
want
your
to, like,
dad's-
how much about this cult do you know, Sid? Because I'm wondering whether or not you are a figurehead for this cult, or whether you
Do they
are
think
the
you
vessel
died?
which their enlightenment comes. And by enlightenment, I mean, are you gonna get sacrificed when we catch up with them?
I don't know.
Are
That's
any of
why
us
I ran
gonna
away.
There is, you hear, you're kind of having this conversation. You can hear from the square now. You hear raised voices, and you look down and see. At first glance, you think it's Usher Ravan. You think it's the commander, but it's not. You see a large, essentially armor-clad individual with a flowing red and orange cape emblazoned with a flame on it, and they are stalking towards, looks like a general member of the populace, and shouting something. And you can see that the person they're stalking upon looks freaked out, and you see that they put up their hands, and Sib, you feel the telltale signs of the way as they lift up their hands and send like chairs and benches hurtling towards this armored individual. And you watch as the furniture like crashes around this person as they stalk forward and just like grab them with one like gauntleted fist and haul them off the ground and literally pull out a sword and just run them through and throw them onto the floor. And there's like people are like, oh my god, and kind of moving away and stuff. And you can see the armored individual kind of turns and looks around as security, of course, arrives. And there's a moment where like blasters are raised, and you see the armored individual holds up a hand and produces like a data plate. And one of the security members moves forward and looks, and it appears to be some sort of
bounty or
something.
Yeah.
And eventually people are like, what the? And eventually the armored individual like picks up the corpse of the person and hauls them over their shoulder and like starts striding away.
Yeah.
As you can see security are like looking at this thing.
Yeah. Sibby looks back at Levi and he goes, I think that answered our question, don't you? They're killing people with
like
the
a
weight.
real safe place to be for a spooky weirdo.
Oh god.
Right.
This is wild.
I just want to point out, I was not the person who suggested coming here. I refuse to take responsibility for that decision.
Sibby's like, we've just gotta get what I need and get out.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Yes. Okay. Yep. How do we do that?
It's a great question. I thought if we'd staked at my parents' like tent, something would become obvious. And
Okay.
she's like looking
Yeah.
at the tent to be like, is this some kind of like desperately looking for some kind of weakness or like, you know? 'Cause
I mean, you remember that kind of the main research deployment where you and your parents kind of stayed and lived. There are a few kind of homes set up, and there is like a lab, and there are structures. It's like you look over to in the direction of where it is, and you think you can see it. But what you do notice is another structure has been built in front, obscuring your view.
Okay.
And the armored individual appears to be heading straight for it. And now that you look, you see out the front of this new edifice, this new building, are two statues of a young Sibylla Craft, arms raised, out front.
I mean, it would be nice to know what the reaction of your parents might be to your arrival. Do we have time to infiltrate and pretend like we are initiates or interested in joining and ask some questions, test the vibe, or we just surprise them?
Time is a coin, and I'm saying this very specifically to you, Sib. Time is a coin we are not wealthy in. We are carrying a lot of debts.
I know. I'm sorry again. I'm sorry.
I think it'd be a good idea if we had more time, but I managed to get the Imperium, give them some tinsel to try and sort through before we left, but it's not a lot of tinsel.
I don't think I could ask anybody about it anyway. Can you imagine someone that looks like me asking about the Church of Sibylla? Anyway, but my parents' stuff is behind that thing, so I guess we're gonna have to go by it or past it or something anyway. So,
Behind or part of?
I don't know anymore. I haven't been here in years. But it's there.
Luna and Levi, do you have your little companions with you?
Yes.
Sweet.
I have Naga with me.
Oh yeah, but
Tavi hasn't been around for a while.
You haven't mentioned Tavi in ages. That's concerning.
Mhm.
Yep.
Cool.
Uh,
Both Urbot and Naga.
Yep.
Just give you little pings of they're picking up like scanner activity.
Oh.
Yeah. Just there are someone or someone's moving through the city with like a scanner scanning for like Urbots, basically.
Maybe like, and Sib's like kind of like, you know, because she knows that we're short on time and she knows that like she would do anything to help this capsule. So she has to, you know, get in there. She's like, maybe if someone just asks just what's with that thing that just happened, maybe someone will know. And then I'll know if I'm gonna die or be hugged, maybe.
Yeah, Levi stands up and walks
okay.
over to the table with the scientist on it and just claps his hand on the scientist's shoulder and turns him towards the church a little bit and goes, "What's going on with that guy in the armor over there?"
Yeah, you hid the coffee place was like across the street, so you kind of stride across the square and you grab him and he's like, oh, I'm kind of in the middle of a
Oh, I apologize. I didn't mean to interrupt your conversation. That was weird, right? Like, do you see people stabbed a lot? Why did that guy... What's going on with that place over there?
You see him, he's like, I mean, that's an inquisitor from the Church of the Stellar Flame. They're all like that whole, you know, we have a holy light, and anyone who uses the way is enshrouded in darkness, and we got to bring the light to the corners of the... And
how's that go with the Church of Enlightenment?
well,
that feels like...
I don't think it's gonna go well. I mean, the church is based upon, you know, like the chosen one, but honestly, most people here don't really have a problem. Like, if anything's going to go wrong, the chosen one will save us, so it's fine. And to be fair, those zealots and those inquisitors come here all the time, and they get sent on their merry way. So I think it's going to be fine.
That guy just killed somebody in the middle of the square, waved a data card at security, and walked away.
Yeah. I mean, you don't come around here much, do you? People die every day.
Hey, look, I'm a courier, man. I'm in town. This is the first time I've been here in Base Camp 1.
Oh, right. Okay, look, listen, all right. Let me give you some tips, man. Okay, you have walked into quite possibly the most dangerous place in the entire galaxy, okay? Everything here outside these walls wants to kill you. A lot of things inside these walls. A lot of things inside these walls will do you some harm as well. We get a lot of, a lot of people who maybe want to lay low for a few things, people who want to kind of do their work unsupervised or kind of without the overwatching eye of something too big, you know what I mean?
No, I'm pretty familiar with that.
Yeah. So I mean, to look at that, like, we get bounty hunters in here all the time, man. Like, it's, you know, you just gotta hope they don't come walking in your direction, especially not one like that.
The big guy. Look, I apologize for interrupting your conversation. Thank you for your help.
Hey, man, look, I was, I remember my first day here as well, right? I originally came wanting to do some cool research and then kind of got sucked into this whole other big thing. And, I'm amazed I'm alive today. But, we do what we can. But, hey, you look out for yourself, man. It's going to, keep your head on.
Absolutely. And again, my apologies. Let me get another round of coffees. And I just, flick some creds, coins over to the counter. Get another round of coffees in for those guys and just, stick my hands in my pockets, whistle my way back across the square.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah. Sweet.
Head for the back stairs up to the platform where we are, so that it looks like I've just disappeared.
Yeah, cool.
As much as a giant blonde in overalls can.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You get from the whole time you were talking to that scientist, Naga was picking up the smuggler was just blatantly scanning you.
Which is fine.
Which is fine, yeah.
I mean, I'm carrying stuff on me.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm also not trying to hide it.
Okay. So you come back and tell us about
offload the information as best I can. Apparently there's combating churches. Doesn't seem like that one's got anything to do with your parents. Also doesn't seem like the kind of place we want to hang out too long. So soonest begun is soonest done, I reckon.
Okay. She looks at all of you and then she's like, well, maybe if I'm supposed to save everybody, I can just march in the front doors and demand the information I need in order to save this planet? Is this a dumb idea? And she looks at all of you guys while her robe's still like firmly down over her face.
I mean, it feels kind of dumb.
Certainly going to draw a lot of attention to us. We may not want that right now.
Yeah, okay. And she
I don't
like
know if there's a fast and sneaky way to do it, though.
yeah,
you know?
she looks back in the direction of like the ship and like where she can feel a connection with the capsule, and she's like, but I have to do this.
Well, we have to do it.
If anything goes wrong, just leave. Just leave me. I'll be whatever I'll be. But I don't want you guys to get in trouble for me. Okay?
Okay, two things. Number one, no. And number two, I don't think we're a crew well known for good ideas at this point. I think we ran out of those a while.
Daring ideas. Yeah.
Okay.
So, daring is when we have a stupid idea, we survive.
Yeah.
Let's push.
Okay.
Look, we've had a good run. We've done we've done some crazy shit, and we've come out on the other end of it every single time. More or less.
She looks at all of you and she just like kind of, grabs hands and sort of puts them in the middle and just sort of squeezes all of your hands and is like, you guys are like my family. Actually, I wish I could have picked family instead of stupid one I got dealt. And she looks over at, the church with statues of herself and she's like, oh, it's so indulgent. Ugh. Like, it's like, okay, well, I guess this god or whatever is gonna go do something stupid.
Maybe they won't recognize you. Who knows? It might be too colossal of a reveal to even believe.
Yeah, and let's stay hidden while I'm out here, just in case that guy's still around. Yeah.
There are people scanning everyone that moves through this town, so if there's any way for you to like mask the weird shit, now would probably be the moment. I don't know if that's like a thing you can do.
I don't know if it is too. Like
Guess we're gonna find out today.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. And so she gets
All right.
up.
Are you? And so
Walks
you
downstairs.
as a crew, you're going to head to the church.
100% yes.
All right. So you head down the street towards.
To be clear, the Church of Enlightenment, not the Church of the Burning.
Yeah.
Of the
Yeah.
kill
the Church
the
of the Stellar
way.
Flame.
Yeah.
No, the Church of
Sid's
Enlightenment.
church. Yeah.
Yeah.
You head to the Church of Enlightenment, and as you get closer, you can see that the statues are they appear relatively well made, but they are definitely very, very ostentatious.
Are they a decent likeness?
Yeah.
Damn.
Luna's like, they did a real good job.
Looks cool.
We
She
could
kinda
take
goes-
one of these. No.
With what, Luna?
Head in the game. Head in the game.
It would be
Yeah,
kind of
so-
cool to put my clothing on it sometimes, like a little
So
like
cool.
mannequin. Yeah, Anyway.
Yeah. Carry on.
That thing's 12 feet tall, Sib. One of your clothes is going to fit a 12-foot tall statue.
Put it in the contain. No. Carry on.
No.
Carry on. Move
Focus
forward.
up.
Yeah, so you're having this conversation.
Logging
You head
in.
through, the large kind of double doors, and you see a very, very typical place of worship. There are spaces where people can be seated and reflect, and there are, you can see a number of images on the walls depicting Sib in various states of kind of messianic virtue. And it is a stark contrast to the front of the space where there is a dais and a looks like almost like some sort of lectern, not quite removed like a pulpit is, but just like a lectern. And you see the Inquisitor there. They look like they're intimidating a few of the churchgoers, and there is a moment where, Sib, you look up and you can see your parents in ceremonial robes. It appears that one of them is trying to emphatically speak to the Inquisitor, and you just hear the loud crack as the Inquisitor backhands one of your parents and turns on the other one, and you hear them very loudly demanding that this entire pit of heresy must be purged, and the fact that you exalt someone who consults with the darkness this way is a stain upon the light of the Church of the Stellar Flame and our holy teachings, and I have come here today. I have already stopped one of you, filth, and he gestures to the corpse on the ground, and they're like, it is getting pretty violent. People are starting to shuffle out.
Yeah.
I do have one qualifying question very quickly.
Yes, indeed.
Does her dad look remarkably like John Goodman?
I don't know, Sib, does your dad look remarkably like John Goodman?
Sure.
Yeah, he looks remarkably like John Goodman.
Brilliant. It's the Righteous Gemstones. I'm here for this. Yeah, Levi's just gonna stride up and put his blaster on the back of the Inquisitor's head. And as he does that, Naga's gonna slide off his arm onto the Inquisitor and just wrap around somewhere where Naga's head might be able to get to flesh. I think that's probably about enough of that bullshit.
Yeah, sweet. Okay. You the moment your barrel tink against the back of the head and Naga kind of slithers onto the arm, the Inquisitor just spins around to try and elbow you. I need you to make a scrap. No, it's a resist roll from you.
Oh, excellent. So I get bonus dice.
You do get bonus dice. Yep.
Through the fire and the flame.
Indeed. So make a resist roll for my players using prowess.
Where is my... Okay, yeah, cool. Best I did was a 5.
Okay, so you are going to take 1 stress. This Inquisitor spins round, and their arm knocks your blaster out of your hand, and it kind of clatters to the side of you. But Naga is wrapped around the other arm. If you want to do something about that, and they just kind of turn and look at you, and they're like, "Big mistake."
Do I have a relatively clear shot?
Oh, you this is an open space. You all have if you all want to get in the mix, absolutely.
Yes.
So as the Inquisitor says, "Big mistake," maybe "You're not wrong there, bud," and Naga's gonna bite him with the morphine injector.
Okie dokie. Yeah, fucking right on. You know what? I'm gonna fucking roll a resist roll for this Inquisitor. Hell yeah. All right.
Can I make that resist roll worse for him by doing something at the same time?
Yeah, absolutely can.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I huck Orbot at in rolled form.
Yeah.
Fully at him, hoping it collides with his head. Yep.
Yeah, sure.
Naga is obviously on him. Yep.
Yeah, brilliant. So yeah, he gets bitten in the arm, and it's interesting because the Naga has to try and bite through armor. But the fact that arm is kind of tied up and is being harassed by Naga, whilst Orbot clangs with the head, you can see their helmet gets knocked off, and they turn back, and you can see that you've cut their eyebrow, and there's a moment where Luna, Levi, you're pretty sure you don't have a sibling, but this gentleman looks remarkably like the two of you.
No.
It's not kin. It's not your father.
Yeah.
Did we have any cousins?
Do we have uncle? Does he have brothers?
As far as you know,
Do we
your
have a-
father does not have siblings.
Do we have a half brother?
But you see him, he
I
turns
don't
back.
recognize-
He turns back and is like, like reaches up to his arm as he's like looking
I did
down.
not need this today.
And you can see that as like Naga has bitten him, and I assume Naga's administering the same. Yeah, and you can see that there's a moment where he's like, ugh, and kind of staggers a bit. And you watch as you see this man grit his teeth, and you can see the veins in his neck like strain as he like furiously tries to resist.
Oh, I would definitely raise your blood pressure. That's going to really speed this process up.
He's
We'll go for
trying
that.
this. It hasn't knocked him out, but he's definitely not having a great time.
I
Is
think
there
I'll just go pick up my blaster and then come back and pistol whip him.
Yeah, sure. Make
I think
a
he's gonna smack him in
scrap
the
roll
face,
for
but
me,
yep.
please.
In the
Is anyone else doing anything? Vic,
Yeah.
Sib?
Sib has gone full haunted mode. Because
Ooh, yeah.
that feels like very role play, like, right? You know, she walks into a church which is super dedicated to her and looking
yep.
around at poses she's like never seen herself in and does not understand. And then like her parents just get like cracked and she doesn't even know how she feels about her parents. Like she's mad at them. Is she confused by whatever's going on? Like she still has love for them, all these memories of like the time before she was infected with whatever she's infected with, you know, like, and so she uses her like way to like, she almost lifts off the ground and like the robe that's on her like slips off and she just goes like full like crazy, like almost, you know, rise up into the air exorcist mode where she's just like
full Jean Grey Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, she just starts screaming, just like, not my church, you know, like it just.
So, yeah, as Levi, you grab your pistol. Did you roll a scrap roll for me, by the way?
I did. It was not great. So my thinking is
This is
as
risky
she
now.
screams, it's like I just swing blindly.
Yeah, sure. Well, what did you roll?
I rolled a 4 and 2 2s.
Oh yeah, a 4. That's fine. That's fine. So yeah, you are about to kind of pistol whip this dude, and the scream, Sib, as you feel yourself kind of overcome with this emotional response, you rise up into the air, and your scream is amplified and so sonorous that some of the windows like blow out. There is a wave of energy that knocks all of you kind of off your feet for a bit. Pews get shoved to the side. Levi tries to pistol whip the dude, but ends up kind of missing, and you hit him, but it doesn't appear to do much. And as he kind of as he gets hit and staggers back, the wave of kind of energy from Sib hits him, and he turns his attention from you, Levi, up to Sib, and his spare hand like whoosh, pulls out the sword, and you see it like electrify as he just screams out, "Heretic!" Sib, you look down and see your parents. They are like their eyes are so wide they drop to their knees, and are just like overcome with awe. Luna, Vic, is there anything you two are doing? You've just been hit by this blast of Sib's voice, which again was doubled.
Oh yeah, I forgot that I speak in double.
You don't always speak in doubles. This time you do,
Okay.
because you're accessing the way.
I'm aiming to help Levi with his situation. Not even really sparing a glance for what I feel like is happening behind me. Like knocked down, getting back up, and then I want to do the same thing I did in the Rusty Barrel, where I basically just fly across the room and see if I can hit this guy in the face.
Hell yeah, go for it. Yeah, right on. Vic, are you doing anything in this absolute chaos?
Yeah, I think while this is all sparking off, Vic would have been ushering any civilians towards the door, the exit, and then once he's kind of like herded them through, he shuts the door and locks it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good, because just as when Sib did her thing, a number of the churchgoers turned back and they're like, the chosen one, and start moving. You're like, get out. Yeah, and you can hear them, like people have started like crying out, outside, like, it is time, running down the streets. The end is nigh.
So much for low profile.
Sib's not in her right mind right now, so she's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Luna, make a scrap roll for me, please.
I got a 5.
You got a 5.
Yeah.
Again, you launch from the ground, and come flying towards this person who is now like heading towards Sib, and with his momentum and your momentum, the two of you collide in the air, and you manage to like get him, like you hit him pretty hard, and he gets veered off course and kind of staggers into some chairs before trying to get back up. He like has to like lean on his sword. The arm that Naga's wrapped around, Naga is like contorting it, so he's like, Yeah, but he just gets up and is just kind of focused on Sib, who is like up in midair.
Can I get Orbot to leap onto his head?
Absolutely, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Orbot, like, as he kind of gets up, Orbot's just like onto his,
And then
now
just
he's like,
get in his face. Yeah.
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 Yeah, he's going to try and get both Orbot and Naga kind of off him. So he's going to try, we'll see how he goes. No, he's not doing well. He's not doing well at all. He's trying, but he's not so much trying to get them off as he is now. He's resorted to like slamming his arm on bits of furniture and like trying to like grab at Orbot, and he's like starting to like, trying to like headbutt walls and things like that. Like he's trying to do damage to himself to try and damage the box.
So as he does that, I would like to roll a hack check to see if I can get, like, to see if there is enough processing power in the connection between me and Naga to get her to flatten out her scales in much like a glide configuration, and see if she can slice into his arm, potentially through his arm, because
Awesome.
she doesn't have musculature, she has hydraulic systems.
She has hydraulics, yeah. She has mechanical advantage.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
there is no nerve system in Naga. Naga is a complicated screwdriver, and I would like to apply that tool to a non-standard use.
I love that idea. Hell yeah, go for it. Yeah, this is gonna be pretty risky though.
Okay. So I did get a 6.
Oh, yep, right on. Yep.
I also got a 1.
So no, that's fine. You got a 6. So you do it. You get to add a gambit to the crew. Yeah,
I feel like there's just the, like, it's almost like because I'm having to focus on it so hard.
Yeah.
There's like a high-pitched whining in my ear, like behind where the implant is that connects me to Naga.
Yeah.
And it's just that, like,
just tinnitus.
But only in one ear.
Only in one ear, yeah, for sure. Cool, yeah. So Naga like swings and just digs into the arm. Doesn't cut it off, but does enough damage that you see it kind of just like she severs enough of the kind of nerves and the muscles that he's just like, ah, and blood is just like down his arm onto the floor.
Sib looks down on this guy, like from her crazy, like she's opened herself up to the way so much she's almost slightly inhuman right now.
Yeah, and you can definitely feel just like hatred and disgust and anger heading straight towards you from this guy.
Yeah, and she opens herself to the way, which is screaming in pain ever since she saw like the person get killed outside, like the loss.
Mm-hmm.
And she channels that. She looks down at this man and channels all of that grief and like sadness and you know, like anger and loss for the people of the way, and channels it straight into his mind so he can feel it from where she is.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. So good. I love it. You just, you basically grab onto that anger that's coming off him as almost like a tether, and you just funnel all of that hurt and pain and loss into him. And there is a moment where your awareness, you feel it impact, almost like impact his willpower, and then it just smashes right through it like glass shattering from your screen. And you just like funnel this into this man. The rest of you see him like look up and his eyes go wide, and he just starts just screaming like the biggest kind of blood-curdling scream you've ever seen. He drops his sword and begins like clawing at his own face whilst just screaming horribly. And Sib,
Sib's in the air just like, you will not hurt the way, you know, like in the air. Yeah,
Sib, you're just pouring all of just like pain and misery and suffering into this,
and hers too, like amplifying like her loss from you know, losing her parents, losing the place that she lived, like everything, you know, into this guy.
Sure. There are, you like pour into this man who is now like, you know, he's bleeding from the face as he's literally just like clawing at his head to try and get all of this pain out of there. And Sib, you suddenly feel this intense thirst for vengeance as you pour into this man, and you're not sure you can stop it. Yeah. As he just like drops to his knees now and is like furiously clawing at his own face and is like gibberish and is drooling and bleeding.
And I think for everybody else too, she doesn't look like Sibby. Like Sibby smiles and laughs and, you know, is playful and cheeky and all of these things. And she just looks like cold ice and wrath right now. Like,
and from where she is floating and looking down, now you can see in the space between her and the man on the ground, you see these inky black creatures kind of snaking their way from her as if kind of apparating from thin air and just kind of slamming into this guy and almost burrowing into him as he kind of writhes and twitches and grabs his face.
Yeah. So Sib doesn't stop. I think you guys are going to have to.
You're just pouring all this emotion into him, and now what you're seeing is, for those of you who were there with 10 mil, you're seeing something remarkably similar to what crawled into the side of the ship, just pouring forth from the way into this poor man. Well, poor man, into this person.
Man, yeah.
Into this man.
Vic. We need your help here, buddy, because
both of Sib's parents,
this, but...
both of Sib's parents have got up off their knees now and have started screaming, and like they're running towards Sib and they're trying to like plead with her. They're like, stop this.
This isn't getting involved. This is torture.
I think Vic will race forward and sort of like get in eyesight of Sib and just be like, stop, Sib, it's enough, he's done.
Cool.
And I'm gonna pick up the sword. The sword's laying on the ground next to this guy, and I'm gonna grab the sword and just sort of like hold it at his throat and just you can stop.
There's definitely like this horrible moment probably for Vic where Sib sees you pick up the sword and just swings her eyesight towards you, and there's like definitely a moment where you're like, because it doesn't look like her at all. There is no Sib in those eyes.
Give me a sway roll. Vic, give me a sway roll. And this is a desperate situation. If you succeed, then I will say that between you and Jules, you can decide, like, you will do it. But if you don't, there are going to be some pretty gnarly consequences.
Okay. I did roll a 6.
Nice.
Excellent. So in terms of mechanically, Dave, you have succeeded in what you're trying to do. So, Jules, Dave, there is something does
I think
something
Vic
does work.
does something to get through to Sib. I mean, they've been through some stuff together.
Yeah.
So, like, what is it that Vic does that, like, reminds Sib of, like, their friendship or something? I don't know, something.
I think it's the look on his face when he sees that there's a glimmer of an opportunity to influence what's happening with Sib's aggressive nature right now, and he just sort of like smiles at her with this like love in his eyes that she's seen before when he's talked about family or friends or the connection that he has with the universe. You know, when they've had these deep conversations, it's that same kind of look that's just compassionate and loving. And he probably even says like something to the effect like, I love you, you need to stop this before it's too late.
Yeah, and there's definitely a crack. Like, her eyes come back to herself. They go from like this black inky horribleness, and you see her eyes turn back into her own, and she's like, Vic, oh,
It's
and
okay.
she
It's
just
okay. You're okay.
she crumples because she loses control of the way, so she falls down like onto the ground.
So,
and
Sib,
just...
as you're falling, there's a moment where you watch and you see Sib fall, and Sib, just before she hits the ground, she stops and hovers for a moment. And Sib, you feel yourself fall, and then you feel yourself caught, and you look up and you're being held in 4 arms. And looking up, you see some sort of almost insectoid creature holding you in its arms as it lowers you onto the ground to a seated position. And as it does so, you just see Sib stop in midair and then float onto her butt. But Sib, you see this being lower you down, and then all 4 arms kind of wrap you in a hug as it slowly dissipates.
Yeah, Sib tries to hug back.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you can kind of see her sit on her butt and then look like she air hugs something.
Vic is just going to let the sword fall from his hand and just, like, run over to Sib and kind of kneel down and embrace her. And it's okay. It's okay. Just kind of, like, rubbing her back, like, holding her tightly. It's okay.
Yeah. Sib realizes it's Vic and is like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It's like, I didn't know who you were.
It's okay. It's okay. Just breathe.
The 2 of you are engulfed by Sib's parents, who kind of wrap you up as well. And it feels like a loving embrace before eventually, Sib, you hear them. They're like, we knew you would return. We knew you would return and save us. You're like, they've gone full zealot. Luna and Levi, you look down at the gentleman on the ground, half of his face just torn to shreds now. Like kind of twitching. The eyes are completely lifeless. There's like a mixture of kind of blood and drool coming out of his mouth. His one arm is just like hanging by half of the mass there.
I think yeah, like Levi's gonna very quickly like do some very basic first aid, like the kind of first aid that any Red Cross certified person would know, just to stabilize him. And then I'm gonna hog tie him with the sort of like big thick zip ties. Once I know that he's stable and that he's breathing.
Yeah. Give me a doctor roll.
Oh, good. I'm reasonably sure I have nothing in that.
You have 0s. This is going to be a disadvantage.
Huzzah!
Yeah. And this is unfortunately this is a desperate situation because he is pretty messed up.
Okay. I got a 6 and a 4.
A 6 and a 4, alas. So close. So
Could have been a 1.
could have been a 1. So you do manage to stabilize it. I mean, you get to mark an XP in that track because it's a desperate roll. And you stabilize him, and you manage to stabilize like the human being. But like there is no coherence in this man's eyes when you stabilize him. This is whatever person was in there has been scoured away, and it's just this. You just see this blank staring, like kind of bubbling at the mouth husk of a person. They are alive.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do,
medically speaking.
What? Yeah. They are legally alive.
Mm.
I'm going to get Naga to come and take a sample of blood, so that we can run it through the systems and see what we can see, because the family resemblance is concerning. But also, we don't really have a whole lot of time. So he's stable, he's alive. We need to, like Luna. We need to focus up on this. We need to get shot of this as fast as we can.
I'll yank his data card first, though.
Yep, sweet.
Yeah.
I'll also probably take his sword because it did look like a cool sword.
It is a pretty cool sword. Yeah.
Everybody wants a cool sword.
Yeah.
Okay.
At a quick glance, simple activation mechanism, has a power source. You hit it, the blade electrifies.
Yeah. So I'm gonna turn off the electrifying and stick it down the back of my overalls.
So sick. Yep. Every 8-year-old in this world is proud.
And everybody who's seen Blade, because motherfucker's always trying to ice skate uphill.
Okay. So there is a point where the parents kind of disengage from Vic and Sib, and there your mother gets up and begins to move back towards the dais, and your father, who was the one who got cracked across the face, you can see a bit of a bruise, looks at you, Sib, and just kind of looks at you, and he's just like, this is the time, now is the time, and begins kind of like lifting you up and leading you towards the dais. And you can see now your mother has gone beyond it to a large banner, and has pulled the banner across, and you see some large metal doors emblazoned with that symbol.
Yeah.
And she's moving up to them and beginning to like open the doors. And
are you okay with this, Sib? Are you?
Sib's like looking at the rest of the crew because she's not sure. Like she's traumatized. She doesn't really know what just happened because she's and she's sort of looking at everybody being like, no,
Hey,
no, get your hands.
Could we just take a beat here? What the hell is all of this? In plain terms that non-enlightened folks might be able to understand. I'm talking to like the parents at this point. Like what is this? Like, just slow down.
Back, he's like, now is the time. She has returned where she will, yes, and she will ascend to her full power.
Well, what's beyond that room?
That's the ritual space where she will ascend to godhood and grant us all enlightenment and escape from these mortal bonds.
That's the key phrase.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we need to be here anymore.
We're out.
Yeah, that's not happening today.
Wait. I came because I have things to say before I leave this mortal realm. But in order to say these things, I need to access the research. I need to see where it happened.
Yes, or it is. We have placed everything in the ritual room. All of our documents, all of the texts, all of the research, all of our knowledge is stored in there.
Yes, and then I need to read it, and then I need time to share it with people before I leave this mortal realm. So,
your father turns to you and he's like, we cannot force your ascension. That is
No.
that you will do that. We only exist to facilitate the ritual.
I know. But just saying, there's something on the ship that I need, and I need time here, and then you know what? I'm ready.
Sure.
But I do this my way.
He's like, yes, of course.
Okay.
He's like, of course. And then, like, as you say that, he's like, you are the chosen one.
And she looks back at the crew and just sort of like back with like normal Sib eyes, just sort of like shrugs, like something like that, you know, kind of like you know, giving you guys like.
You see Levi's got a cloth just like cleaning all of the viscera off Naga, and he's he's looking at you with deep reservations.
Like Sib nods. You know, like
but it's almost like there is a beat there where it feels like Levi doesn't know you.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, 100%.
Your father turns back to you and he says, "Will your entourage accompany you to the ritual chamber?"
I feel like they should see how it's prepared. I guess.
Very well.
And like, Sib again looks back at you guys, and as the doors begin to open, she's looking at you all. You know, like for strength or something. You know, because she has no idea what she's about to say. Yeah.
Vic will step forward and just take her hand. If this is what you need to do, if this is what we need to do, we're here for you.
Sib leans over to Vic and says, I saw him. He caught me. He's here. He's me. He's something. I've got to do this for them.
Okay. I'm here for that. We're here for that, right, guys?
You're not going in alone.
She takes a big breath and she's like, don't forget, you know, we've got something on the ship we need too. And then turns around and faces the door. So
the group of you head into a chamber. There are a number of cabinets and shelves with, it looks like, your classic archaeological pottery, trinkets, small pieces of machinery. There is it looks like a very comfortable looking, almost like a bed, or like almost like a chaise lounge. And you see Sib's parents. Your mother is at a terminal and has started like firing up a terminal and like entering in some code. And there is a glass cabinet that has, you can see all of their research, kind of the data slates. A glass cabinet like opens up, and you see your father goes towards a it looks like a chest, like a kind of a stone chest. With and it appears there's some like almost like a rug or another banner draped over it, and he moves over towards that. Levi, as you've kind of finished cleaning off Naga, you get a little signal from Naga. Naga recognizes the blood sample. It matches you and Luna. As she gives you that little notification, Sib, you see your father pull the banner off the stone chest and reveal a very familiar looking stasis pod.
Yeah.
And as he reveals it, Sib, you feel a pull inside yourself, and you see materialize in front of you another one of those four-armed individuals kind of materialize into the space and turn to face you. And as it turns to face you, that is where we will end today's episode. because it's 3:18, and I don't want to hold you for too long.
Wow.
But yes, here we are. Oh boy.
Big reveals.
Oh my god!
Oh my
Big
goodness,
reveals.
you guys.
Cult leader. What?
This is wild.
What?
God, maybe.
Yeah.
God,
Godhood?
maybe. Or like
That
just
could be legit.
yeah, but
No.
just like someone who their family raised stupid idea about, like
Right.
you know.
All of the panels with you being this religious figure, and you're like, I didn't.
And
do
I'm
that.
like, I do not do that. Like I'm thinking about like how I spent last night, and I'm
Yeah.
looking at this person's panels, and I'm like,
yeah, they don't
this-
have the one of
No.
the chosen one
Yeah.
in the holy threesome, right? This,
yeah,
That is
The
so
Holy
true. That is so true.
yeah, the Holy Trinity,
the Holy Trinity.
Threesome.
Yeah, it's a different kind of vibe. Yeah,
The Holy
wow.
Eiffel Tower.
yeah.
Oh dear.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You
Well
guys,
done.
you
Well
guys.
Oh, and
nice.
your family member. What on earth? So
Oh, yeah.
good.
Oh, Luna doesn't know that yet.
No, Luna don't
No.
know that yet.
No,
Oh.
Yet.
No.
no.
Wow.
Make a note for next session. Have data card. Look at it.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Ah, Alan, you're very good.
You guys are good. You guys are just giving me gold. This is so good. It's so good. I have these I have notes. Like I have notes about things. And every time you guys are saying something, I'm like, man, this feeds into this really well. This is great.
Does it just say sexy goblin on the notes?
No, it's funnily enough, it just says Sib will probably have sex with everyone. Weird. Yeah, just,
I mean, accurate.
yeah.
I mean, what are you gonna do?
No.
I thought you were gonna say that the guy in the bar was Bert from the original bar, and I was gonna be like, "How did he beat me here?"
No, not Bert. Well, I mean, maybe if I thought, maybe if I did actually think Sib was going to sleep with everyone, I would be like, yeah, Bert's here. But no,
Maybe time for more
I
Bert.
put Rian there as well. I was like, Rian's going to be here for sure.
No,
Yeah.
I loved
That was
Rian
great.
coming back. I thought that was great.
Because he was in that system, right? And you guys scared him off.
Yeah.
And I was like, where would he go? Yeah, I was like, yeah, he'd probably be here.
He'd go to the
Yeah.
bar.
He'd go to the bar. Yeah.
Where do you go when you've been scared off? The
That's
bar.
right. The bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well done, y'all. That was awesome. Remember, you can look around, look over your sheets and see if there's any XP things that you fulfill. Anyway, if you rolled in a desperate position, that attribute automatically gets an XP point. Whoa. I guess next week we'll find out what happens when your parents turn you into a god.
Wow.
and a religious zealot wearing your friend's face tries to kill you. Oh,
I like that Sib both doesn't believe it and then also does stuff that makes it look
just
like
reinforces the
The old double down.
yeah.
Mhm.
I'm definitely
was
not a god
awesome.
who goes, "Wah," but I'm not a god. I'm not.
That was a very cool scene.
I gave myself stress for that too, Alan, because you didn't make me like roll any attune or anything. So I just gave myself a couple of stress for that.
It's yeah, sure. Okay, great.
Because I feel like that would have been a really stressful time. So that makes sense.
Absolutely. I mean, also as players,
I feel like
you
we
all
should
can-
all take
you all
rest
can-
too.
You can all
Yeah.
suggest
stress.
roles as well. You can call for roles.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
you can be like, I would like to make this kind of role.
Yeah. I just
Yeah.
feel like she probably it's the same as like pushing herself. So I was like, that makes sense to me. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
she pushed her ability to use the way. Yeah.
mhm.
I feel like the stressful bit for Levi didn't come until he got the message back from Naga.
From Naga.
Yeah.
Everything
Yeah,
else was
no
kind of
doubt.
like, I mean, this isn't good, but it's pretty much business as usual when you hang out with the spooky space witch and you live the lifestyle that we do.
Yeah.
Mm.
Everything else, you're like, no, that's. I mean, it's at the edge of the
We're in debt.
the bell curve.
We've
Yeah.
found a cult.
Yeah, you're in debt. You found a cult. Your dad absolutely knows where you are,
Yeah.
or at least can like get in touch with you whenever he wants.
Hate that.
I've told you to have throwaway email addresses, but no, you had to keep the one that you got when you were 13.
Yeah.
Pretty Princess Pony.
Yeah, Pretty Princess Pony Luna 24.
Yeah, and Vic has somehow infected our entire ship.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that come to fruition.
Maybe good or bad. I don't know.
It sounds good to me.
Like, it seems good. Didn't you say that was like power boosting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that is why Levi hasn't been
worried about
discussing it anywhere, is because it's not ideal, but it seems broadly positive.
Yeah, and I honestly don't know what our party would do without Vic. We would leave so many dead people behind us without Vic being like, I help all of these other people leave.
Yeah, I just wanted to get those people out of here. Like, we don't need any collateral damage.
Because in my notes, I was like, collateral damage for sure.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
because people are gonna freak out when they see the sword, and then when Sid was like, I go God mode, I was like, they're not gonna leave. They're gonna be like, it is the chosen one, and they're gonna get fucked up.
Yeah.
Oh, so good, you guys.
Amazing.
So good. This is so
very
great.
Cool.
I love it.
All right. Well, hey, we'll be back next week to do more of this. And
final episode.
Oh my God, is it really? Oh, shit, that's sad. So excited though. All right. Well, thank you guys for being here. Thanks for everybody in the chat. We're gonna raid into some of our friends over at Kobold Press. So give them some good old fashioned Guild Spirit love. Sorry, let's go around the table and do outros. I'm falling over myself here. Go ahead, Josh.
Hey guys, I'm Josh. I'm a giant geek. I've been playing Levi tonight. It's been a lot of fun. It's been exciting. It's been great stuff. There's still some exciting mysteries to be discovered, and hopefully we can get everything tied off in a boat.
Yeah.
If not, we'll go over to his twin sister Luna and take it home.
I'm Emily. I played Luna tonight. I had a great time. I feel like Josh said a bunch of stuff already about all the mysteries we have to tie up. Luna will go down fighting if she has to. So tune in next week to find out where this goes. I'll throw to Jules.
Sup?
Amazing shit.
I have been Jules from NZ, DM, real life bard, and giant RPG fan playing Sibylla Crafty. Someone might have cracked in the chat where I got the idea for Sibyl's name from, so that's fun. So well done you for knowing some mythology.
I was Dungeon Mr. Ty. We should not be surprised.
Yeah. Been super exciting to be here again. Really love playing with this crew. They're some of my favorite people in the entire world, and that now includes Dave because he's pretty cool. So
thank you.
Nice. Find me on at Jules from NZ pretty much everywhere, and we'll see you next week. Yay.
A fresh recruit into our Discord, as it were.
Yes.
Jules from NZ.
Right on.
Thank you.
Thank you again, everyone. I'm Allan Henry. I'm a thoroughly strange person. It's so much fun to bring this story to all of y'all. Scum and Villainy is a very fun game, and these are very fun players to play it with. I look forward to seeing what happens next week when we kind of try and find some sort of resolution to all of the nonsense that has been going on. You can find me all over most social media places. I kind of spend most of my time posting on Blue Sky at Allan Henry Official. I'm on various other ones as well, but I'm trying to kind of pull myself away from that just because of the way that the world is looking right now. So bear with me, y'all. But other than that, you can find me here running games or playing in games with Guild Superior. I'm also running with some very good friends of mine over at Restless Barbarian Games. We're about to start a Delta Green game, which for those of you who don't know, Delta Green is like X-Files, the game. You're a government agent working on spooky paranormal stuff. There's a few things going on here in New Zealand. Jules and Josh and I run some games for BD&D every now and then, and we're also trying to find excuses to run games for all sorts of things. Jules is going to be running a game at one of our Comic Cons, Armageddon, for the cast from Roswell, because she's super fucking cool. So there's all sorts of wonderful stuff going on. And yeah, the world's a scary place right now, so be excellent to each other, look after each other, and fight the good fight, y'all. But yeah, I'll hand it back to you, Dave.
Thank you so much, Allan and friends, for being part of this. Yeah, thanks everybody for hanging out. Probably the safest social media destination that you're going to find right now is our Discord. So I'm not even going to post any of the other links. Just come on over and hang out in our Discord. It's a good, safe place for all people of all kinds. And we're gonna raid into Kobold Press. So stick around for that. We will be here on Tuesday with the second half of our 2-part Call of Cthulhu game with MJ Russell. Can't wait to tie those loose ends up. We'll be back next Saturday with more Tales from the Whisperwood and more Scum and Villainy and more storytelling to come. So thank you all for being part of it. We'll see you Tuesday. Have a great day, night, whatever it might be for you. Thanks a lot. Bye.